You are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So the last week we've been going out for like lunches and dinners with all my wife's friends, and I'm being dragged along. I can't say no. Like, I can say no, but how many times can I say no? There is a limit to it, and I say no all the time. But because we're leaving, I have to go and have dinner with all these people, which is fine, I suppose. It's like a farewell. I won't see most of these people again for a while, hopefully. But I'm so used to having like one-way conversations now, just with myself on the podcast, stand-up, going over my stand-up shit. You know, just talking to myself, really. And when I'm talking to myself like now, everything I say is interesting because there's no one there to get distracted and roll their eyes. And that's kind of how I would like it out there in the real world, especially with my wife's friends. All I want to do is turn up, tell a few stories, eat something, do a couple of minutes after dinner, and then go, all right, I've done my time and I'll see you later. And just walk out without paying for the food because I've really earned my meal, haven't I? Just me turning up is earning my meal. I really feel like I shouldn't have to pay for any meals when I go out with my wife's friends. I feel like they are getting very good value for money, entertainment-wise, just me turning up and regaling them with some of my fucking anecdotes. But I tell you what, there has been a little bit of a fucking problem lately. So we'll be out at lunch. We're at a brewery the other day, and I'm telling stories, interesting, funny stories. And in the middle of telling these stories, entertaining my wife's friends, I could tell that I had triggered a story in them. So they're sitting there half listening to my story now, thinking about their own story. And so in the middle of my story, I'm like, fuck, they've got a story. Now, as soon as I finish my story, I'm going to have to listen to their shitty story. I don't want to listen to their story. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Because I definitely don't want to listen to their story. But how long can I drag out this story for? Am I just going to talk for 30 fucking minutes? I can drag out a story, don't worry about that. But I can't drag out a story for a whole fucking lunch. So I wrap up my story begrudgingly. And just as I had suspected, they immediately start with their own story. And I'm like, oh my God, how long is this shit going to take? And so they're telling their story now to me nodding my head, but inside I'm not even listening to a word they're saying. I'm like, is this going to happen every time I fucking tell a story now? That they're going to come back and tell me another story? Is this how the world works? So anyway, they finished their story, whatever the fuck it was about. I wasn't listening. Who knows? Who fucking cares? Then a little bit later on, I start working myself into another story. And they're listening as they should. I'm fucking giving them a gift. It's basically money. Me telling them a story is basically like giving them money. I'm giving them money. That's why they should fucking pay for my meal. It's an exchange. It's a barter system. But anyway, I'm in the middle of this fucking amazing story. It had something to do with childbirth or something like that. It was fucking good. They really should just be sitting there eating popcorn watching me, appreciating it. Nothing should be going through their head. They should not be thinking anything. Just how good the story is and take little bits of wisdom out of it. That's what they should be doing. But I look at the cunt again and I can pick up people's emotions. Not only am I a fantastic fucking storyteller, I also have a little bit of telepathy. I read body language like it's a book. I pick up micro expressions. Basically, you can't get anything past me. So I'm looking at him as I'm telling my story. And I'm like, this cunt's thinking about his own story again. I'm like, I have to listen to this cunt's story again once I finish my story? That should be the end of the show. So I'm wrapping up my story, but I'm thinking, if he starts another story, I'm going to have to fucking stop telling stories. Because I can think another thought and tell the story as well. That's why you buy me dinner. Because I'm doing fucking shit you're not even noticing. So I'm like, if he starts another story as soon as I finish my story, if he goes into his own story, I'm not telling any more fucking stories for the rest of this lunch. I might not ever tell a public story ever again. I don't want to be triggering people into telling me stories all the time. It's so dangerous to talk now. They should be hanging on my every word, not fucking concocting their own stories. So I finish and he starts his own story. I'm like, I'm out. This lunch is over. The show's over. I'm not taking the risk anymore of telling you a story that's going to trigger one of your stories. So after that, I just shut up shop. It's too fucking risky. I just started nodding, one-word answers, no follow-up questions, just fucking straight down the line. That's why people stay quiet. It's not because they're good listeners. It's because it's too fucking risky to say something that's going to trigger someone else to speak. Oh, that reminds me of the time I was at Shut Up. This is a show. You're calling it a lunch with friends. I'm calling it a show. I want my meal paid for next time. I want 100% attention. That's it. Anyway, let's get to it. It's Monday. It's Ask Boyle Monday. I still haven't come up with a jingle for Ask Boyle. Ask me anything. Do you have the answers? Tell me what you think. All right, I'll definitely come up with the fucking jingle next week. Anyway, Ask Boyle is simple. You send me in a question. I'm a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. I'll answer all your questions. If it's a problem with work, relationship issue, if you need to murder your parents for the inheritance, I'll help you out with that. Ask me anything. So if you would like to ask a question, just hit me up on my social media. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Or alternatively, you can just email me at boylecomedy at gmail.com. So anyway, last week, the Ask Boyle was, what are your 10 commandments of sobriety? And I came up with 2, and I said I'd finish it this week, which I'm not going to because I received another Ask Boyle. So this week's Ask Boyle is work-related, this one. So this was sent in by Michael out there in Sydney, Australia. Michael's an electrician / a mechanical engineer, so he wants a little bit of help with work. He's asking me, which one would you choose? A, simply repair a machine knowing full well that you'll have to make the same repair again in a few months and thus earning your employer future earnings. Or B, submit a design change to an international company that'll be a significant upfront cost but will ultimately save the customer money but will lose income for your employer with no monetary gain for yourself. Do you help your boss or do you help the customer? You've come to the right place for advice, Michael, because I am going to give you a very unbiased answer because I hate employers and customers equally. Is there a way we can fuck them both over at the same time? Like, could we submit a design change to the international company that's not going to improve the machine at all? No. That's a double fuck over for the customer. Can we do that? Can we fuck them both over at the same time? If we improve the machine, that fucks over the boss. If we don't improve the machine, that fucks over the customer. Is there any way we can do that? Can we submit a bad design or would your boss still get more? I don't think we can. We need to fuck someone over though. Someone needs to be fucked over. Who do you hate more? Employers or customers? Customers are so fucking annoying. Customers are just cunts. But employers are bigger cunts most of the time, aren't they? Employers time your lunch breaks and your toilet breaks. And then they take the half an hour for your lunch out of your pay. Fuck employers. I would submit the new design, help the customer out, and fuck over your boss. Perfect. That's coming from a place of hate though. If you look at it morally, what would you do? Would you just continue repairing the same old shit again, knowing it's going to break down, bleeding the customer dry, so your boss can buy his missus a fucking Land Rover and clog up our streets, guzzling the fuel down and probably hitting a couple of dogs in that car on the way to picking their kids up from fucking private school? Or do you submit the new eco-friendly design to the international company, fix the machine, get it running better, save the customer some money so they can buy a new electric wheelchair for their disabled kid, and pour the rest of the money into charity? I think you know what to do. It's a win-win. Whether you come at it from hate or you come at it from a moral perspective, you have to fuck over your boss. It's like in chess. Who do you go after, the fucking pawns or the king? You take down the king. All right, Michael, thank you for your question. I hope I fucking cleared it up a little bit for you. That's it for Ask Boyle tonight, and I'll see you the fuck later.